Good. Welcome to week 2. And those of you who are not here, perhaps watching, welcome to you too. I hope that's working out. We'll begin with a guided meditation, please. So find a comfortable position where you can be alert and relaxed. And you can close your eyes if you like, or gaze down forward with a soft gaze. And begin by feeling your body in this space. Feel the contact points. Your feet, your butt, your legs, notice the weight of your body. What do your hands feel like right now? What are they touching? Notice your back upright in a dignified posture. Any areas of tension, let them relax. And bring attention to your breath. Notice the in-breath and the out-breath. Not controlling the breath, letting the body breathe, and notice what it feels like to breathe in and breathe out. Perhaps after the out-breath, just wait and wait for your body to start the next in-breath. See what that feels like. Just sitting and breathing. And our minds will wander away from the breath and the body. We may notice some thoughts. Maybe a story we're recalling or a plan we're making. Notice that. Oh, thinking. How interesting. But not clinging to the thought, just noticing it and then letting it go. Coming back to the next breath. You may notice sounds. Oh, hearing. And come back to the next breath. Perhaps you notice an uncomfortable body sensation, an ache or a pain somewhere, or an itch. Just notice that. Oh, feeling. Don't judge it, just notice it. Maybe notice if it's pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. And then just breathe. Each breath is an opportunity to take the ramp off the hamster wheel. Breathing out, we relax. Breathing in, we wake up. What an opportunity this evening to sit together. This life, this precious human life. Right now, just sitting and breathing. Falling asleep, open your eyes. Sit up straighter. It's okay to adjust your posture once in a while if you need to. Maybe intentionally take a deep breath. Notice the quality of each breath. Is one deeper or longer? One a little lighter? Just notice that. Just sitting and breathing. Notice your overall mood right now. Restless or peaceful? Anticipating, remembering? And breathe in and out. good to be here. Well, tell me a little bit about your meditation life in the past week. Anything that occurs to you?
I guess I was surprised, but all of a sudden I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I'm smiling. You know, it's like, I think of yoga. It's like, you know, it's just, I don't know, I didn't anticipate that, I guess. And the other thing I was wondering, or whatever, like tonight, I was breathing in and out through my nose. Is it okay to switch to go in through your nose and out through your mouth? Is it one way better than the other? Does it matter?
In this practice, it doesn't matter. Whatever feels comfortable. Typically, nose.
In and out the nose.
Some people have a little trouble with what to do with their mouth and their tongue. I don't know if it's in this book, but some people salivate when you're meditating. There was a story about one at a prolonged meditation. One guy just kept, he kept drooling. And so he had a bowl. He just let it drool into a bowl.
Oh my. So his mouth was open.
Singing bowl has a dual purpose.
Might change the tone.
A lot of times they say putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth is a good position, but whatever feels right. In this practice, we're not trying to control the breath, we're just observing.
I think that's something I noticed, when I first started doing it, I was trying to control the breath and then I'd have to stop myself. And I also found that I started with the 10 minutes and it seems like the 10 minutes isn't quite long enough. I can notice that already, so I've been doing 15 to 20 minutes depending on my morning. I'm trying really hard to make time. So,
Very good.
yeah, the first day was kind of like a comedy show. I set my timer for 10 minutes. My teenage son got up earlier than I expected. So he's like, "Hey mom," brought me right out of it. So I'm like, okay, I'll just stop for today. Went to let the dog out, the dog had puked. Went to let another dog out that's in a kennel. And we have another dog that ran away that morning and I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's up with the universe? I'm trying.
Making you earn it.
Exactly. Like, we're gonna test you. So, yeah. But each day's better.
I did it to a video or a YouTube video. I listened and I felt like the ones that had the nature type sounds, they were so relaxing. You really could take yourself away from everything.
Good.
By using those.
That's valuable, yes.
Yeah.
Meditating in nature when you can, get outside
Oh.
is really the best. Then you're hearing all the
Yeah,
sounds
then-
for real.
Mhm. The birds and the.
You're just in your elements,
Mhm.
the wind.
So when you have that opportunity, you can make sound your focus and just notice the different sounds, where they're coming from, what they sound like, their volume. Oh, that's fascinating, isn't it? Wonderful to do that. I heard the birds tweeting yesterday morning
Yeah,
Yes.
and the river's running.
The geese, I think it's the geese that come
Yeah, I
back.
saw geese too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything from you, Jim?
I'm kind of back to the breath. I have been doing sort of, sitting back to the breath. I've been laying down. I've been doing walking meditation. Been doing the loving kindness chant, but I don't know, after reading the chapters, I switched back to the breath and that went well. and it went long, and it was good.
Right.
And it kind of restored me to my regular place where I started.
Good.
A couple times this week we meditated together and I found a candle. The first, like focusing on a candle with my eyes just open a little. I enjoyed that, but then on Meg's recommendation, I think eyes closed might be, I don't know, better. So I'm not sure about that.
Okay,
Maybe keep experimenting with that. I've found that I need a couple words, like you've given some and the book has given some, just to kind of focus on like breathing in, breathing out, or like you said, wake up, relax, or there were some other ones in the book. I need something verbal, I guess, in my mind to help focus, yeah.
yes, that's helpful, good.
I'm thinking tonight I could hear your breathing, and I thought, oh, this is really helping me stay on track.
My sinuses.
No problem, I mean, it was a good thing for me.
I've been using the word thinking when I have the thoughts. It seems like they're shorter as I went along throughout the week, like I would notice it sooner maybe that I was thinking, rather than it going on and on for a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be breathing and concentrating. So then I'll just say thinking, and then I'll go back to the breath, and that seems to help me.
Name entertainment.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
In the book, they use the phrase not breathing or not breath.
Yeah.
You get distracted or something, come back to the breath.
Uh-huh.
I had a lot of opportunities to practice this last 2 weeks because I had a procedure done and I had a biopsy done on Friday, and the whole week leading up to the biopsy, of course, was a roller coaster of emotions, and my practice just became, I would have the longer practices in the morning as part of my ritual, but I would find myself like clinging to it whenever I needed it, like when I needed that like moment to kind of recenter and get strong, or whatever the word was at the time, that I would take a 5-minute meditation, you know, to just like, and it was very, very helpful. I've never been a patient other than having, you know, delivering children. And so that experience was really something, just being in a hospital bed and, you know, all of those things. And I have to say, actually, there was a moment where I felt like an angel had been delivered, because the nurse who I was working with said, "Oh, you're from Chilton. My favorite geology professor is from Chilton." And I said, "Who is that?" And she said, "Jim Bray." And I said, "Oh my God, I just met him a week ago."
Coincidence.
I was literally almost in tears, like I wanted to hug this woman, you know. And so we just talked a little bit, and her name was Tina. Tina was just like such a beautiful source of comfort.
She's a wonderful person.
And you know, in the process of having the biopsy and the CT scan going on, she slipped her little fingers into my hand under the blankets, and you can squeeze my fingers. It was so kind. So anyways, I really felt like, and then, you know, waiting, of course, 5 days for the results is just so hard. Mentally, just, you know, you go through so many, you just want to think about so many things, and meditation really helped me to just right here, right now, you know. So I didn't really plan on sharing all of that. I haven't really shared any of that with anybody, so I'm thankful for this practice.
I hope you've been reading the book, sounds like you have been. As I mentioned, you know, I've read it maybe 15 times, and I always find some things, and this time I underlined some things that I thought were particularly helpful to me at this time. Why meditate, okay? This is on page 3. Meditation helps us to find greater tranquility. Yes. Connect to our feelings. Yes. Find a sense of wholeness. I like that. Strengthen our relationships and face our fears. On page 10, talks about habits. You know, we all have habits that we begin to notice in our practice, things that have been ingrained in us, perhaps born with us, but a lot of it has become, we practice them so much all the time. And it says, these habitual responses are often the result of a lifetime's conditioning, the earliest lessons from our parents and our culture, both explicit teaching and nonverbal cues. And so in our practice, we begin to notice these things that we think and do just out of habit, and it gives us an opportunity to question them. Are they wise? On page 13, the pause for non-judgmental acknowledgement creates a bit of peaceful space within which we can make new, different choices about how to respond to something like anger. In this way, we break old habits. So just noticing it is the first step. Non-judgmental acknowledgement creates a bit of peaceful space. And this week, I ask you to read week 1 on concentration. So I underlined this on page 44. A healthy result of concentration, it brings wholeness when we feel scattered. There's that wholeness again. Because we allow ourselves to be aware of all of our feelings and thoughts, the pleasant and the painful ones. We don't have to exhaust ourselves by running away from difficult or troubling thoughts, or by keeping them hidden, or by beating ourselves up for having them. And because we've begun to be kinder to and more accepting of ourselves, we can be kinder to and more accepting of others. So I hope you're finding the book helpful. I think Sharon is such a good teacher. Such a good teacher. I got to see her one time in Madison 5 or 6 years ago. And if you get a chance to listen to her guided meditations, I think they're very helpful. Have any of you been keeping a journal of your meditation practice? It's not a bad idea. You could write down every day if you want what your experience was, or how long you did it, or what time of day, or you could write down a couple times a week. A journal can be helpful, or maybe some insight that came to you, or some experience. I find that helpful periodically. Any other questions right now? So this week we're going to begin body awareness practices. So our meditation, the core practice continues to be focusing on each in and out breath. But there are other practices that can be helpful, and you can pick out which works for you at a certain time. you know, people have different tastes, so there's this week and next week, we're gonna work on some practices where we're aware of our body. So we do that when we start the sitting meditation. Usually I'll say, feel what your body feels like right now. So the breath and the body, actually the breath is a body feeling, but we kind of separate it. The breath and the body are happening right now. They're not in the future, they're not in the past, they're right now. So they bring us down to the present moment. And they're a focus, they're a point of reference, I like to say. So when your mind wanders, you know it wandered and you can bring it back to what you were concentrating on. So the body is very helpful as a focus. And one of the practices that's very valuable is mindful movement. And there's a number of different kinds of this. A number of you practice yoga, which is probably the most popular one and an excellent one. Certainly recommend it. We're going to do a little bit of simple yoga here now. Tai Chi, and some of you do that, I think. And Qigong. In fact, there's a couple of Qigong movements that I particularly like that I'd like you to try with me. So let's do a little bit of this, and these are some standing practices. So find a place where you can stand comfortably and allow yourself some room so you can spread your arms out. You may want to go behind your chair in case you lose balance, so that's a helpful thing. Now these are very easy. These are, you may call them simple yoga, and I've got a handout at the end of class that goes through some of these poses. But what's important about in this practice, in these poses, is not how you do them, it's about what you notice. It's about paying attention. So it's best to do these very slowly so you notice what's happening in your body. And you notice, oh, I'm going to do this now. So you notice the intention. So we'll just start by swinging our arms back and forth. And just notice what that feels like. Where do you feel it? In your shoulders. Feel the air rushing past your hands. Notice that it takes a little effort. Make the swinging bigger. Some of these are a little silly. You can laugh at yourself, smile. Notice how your balance changes. And when you're ready, let the arms relax and just hang to the sides. Bring your shoulders up toward your ears. Feel that. And let them drop. On the in-breath, shoulders up. And down. Up. And keep them up. Breathe. Feel what that feels like. And down. And maybe once in a while during the day, do this, because many of us will notice, oh, I'm punching my shoulders up, using extra energy. Bring the shoulders back, the scapulas together and back, and then together in front, shoulders in and back, and front, and back. Breathe and relax. And do it at your own pace, just suggestions here. Bring your chin down toward your chest. And let your head and neck bend toward the right. And breathe. Notice what that stretching feels like. You feel it on the inside of your neck, the outside, the inside. Is it uncomfortable? Back off a little bit then. And back to the middle. And bend to the other side. Notice what the stretching feels like. Back to the middle. And hold your head up. A little balancing. Bring your arms out. And put your weight on your right foot. And then back to the left foot. On the left foot. And back to the right foot. Let's do that again with just bring the right arm up and put the weight on the right foot. Stretch. Breathe. Feel the balance. Feel the weight. Feel the stretch. And down. And relax. Weight on the left foot, left arm up, stretch. Breathe. Notice. And down. Couple more. This is a squat. Put your hands on your hips. Put your feet a little bit wider with toes pointing out. And squat. And breathe. And up. This may be called the sumo pose. Down. Notice where you feel it. In your calves, in your thighs, in your arms. And up. And one more time. Feet closer together, hands on hips. And just a little twisting. Twist to the right. A little bit further. Just notice the twisting. Breathe. Where do you feel it? In your back, in your feet? Where? Just notice the sensation. And back to the middle and to the left. And relax. Let your arms hang down. A little bit of ragdoll. Just let your arms hang down. Let your back and body gradually fall toward the down. In Qigong, this is called waterfall. And just hang there. Let your knees bend. Maybe feel the blood rushing to your head. Notice your shoulders, your legs. And gradually back up. And take a minute to stand still. Notice the balance, notice any lightheadedness. This is a variation of one that's called Tree and Spring. Bring our hands, palms down at the chest. Breathe in and let our arms extend up. And then sweep down on the out breath. Bend the knees a little bit, do that again, up and down. Tree in spring, imagine it blooming. One more time. Tree in fall. Arms out, up, together, and gradually down. Notice the leaves falling, the tree fading into fall. On the in-breath, arms up, and on the out-breath, down. One more time. A little variation on this that I really like is parting the clouds. So, hands together, bend the knees up, and the clouds are up there, and part the clouds and the sun shines through. Ah, looking at the sun. Ah, and again, part the clouds, the sun shines through. Breathing. One more time, up. And on the way down, stop halfway down. Extend your palms out. Let that sunshine out into the world. And we can sit when you're ready.
That was lovely.
Good.
Oh, that worked. Sorry. Parting the cloud.
Yeah.
Put it in my brain.
So I find this helpful to do something like this first thing in the morning before I do my sitting practice. It wakes up my body and my mind. It's good to wake up, and it's also good to settle down if you're restless. So any kind of yoga practice, what I'm emphasizing is slow and pay attention to what it feels like. It doesn't matter how good you do it.
Is that what the handout will be, what we just did?
Yes.
Okay, good.
There's also some lying down poses in there too. I got this from a mindfulness-based stress reduction class in Madison. And there's a site that you can go on to listen to somebody guide you through it too, if you'd like.
Is that on their app? I downloaded their app, but I haven't looked at it yet.
No, it's not on that mindful, what's
Healthy
it called?
Minds?
Healthy Minds. It's
Yeah.
not, it's something different. It's from the UW-Madison web, and
Okay.
it's on the handout, which
Okay.
I'll give you at the end of class today. Another practice, a body awareness practice that's very valuable is called the body scan. I think John Kabat-Zinn is famous for this, and I'll have a handout at the end of class where he has a lengthy discussion of the body scan that's very wise. And for this, if you'd like, this is really nice to do lying down. So if you would like to lie down, find a space. You can get a yoga mat or one of these mats. I brought some extra mats in that tub over there. So I did the yoga first to wake us up. So this is a very good practice when you are trying to sleep. But right now we're not trying to sleep, so stay awake while we're doing this. I I think I'm gonna back up a little bit so they can see me better on the camera.
Did you want something for your head? Did you want something for your head? Here's another one. Here's-
Okay, thank you.
And so, just find a way to lie down comfortably. You just, find a spot for your hands that's comfortable. It doesn't really matter where for this practice, just lying down. And with this practice, we just bring our attention to one area of the body at a time, and gradually scanning through the body. And I have some notes here that help me. I want to look at that. Look at that a minute, because I find it particularly helpful to use words to describe what I'm feeling. And sometimes it's helpful to have a vocabulary of physical sensations. So this handout I'll give you has physical sensations you might notice with the body scan, emotional reactions you might notice, and thoughts that may occur. So beginning lying down and beginning paying attention to our left foot. Notice the weight of the foot on the floor. What part of the foot? What part of the foot is contacting the floor? And notice your foot in your shoe if you have shoes on. Notice what the toes of the left foot feel like right now. Are they warm or cool? Tingly, perhaps? Notice the top of the left foot. Any sensation there? Just noticing, what does it feel like? Nothing to do, just paying attention. Notice the whole of the left foot and the ankle. Any discomfort? Moving up to the left calf and shin. Perhaps notice if there's contact with the floor. Notice any feeling. Is it pleasant or unpleasant? Or maybe just noticing you don't really feel anything and just noticing that. And come to the left knee. And if there's an area that's painful, just kind of pay attention to that. What kind is it? Is it a burning, throbbing, pounding, stinging? Just kind of, don't get hung up on the words, but just notice, what does the discomfort feel like? Just noticing it. Moving up to the left thigh. And then down to the right foot. Notice the right foot. The heel resting. Maybe compare, does the right foot feel different from the left? Notice the ankle, the right ankle. Is it achy? Notice its position. Moving up to the right lower leg. Just noticing what that feels like, and the knee, and the upper leg. Just breathing with the sensations. Notice the buttocks resting on the ground. The low back, perhaps the arch of the low back. Notice the contact points of the back with the floor, the weight. Notice your hips. Any discomfort there? And the belly. Maybe notice the belly moving with the breath. Notice if does it feel empty or full? Noticing the lower ribs with the breath. And the chest rising and falling. Can you feel your heart beating? Moving to the hands, notice both hands where they're resting. Notice the fingers, their position, what are they touching? Are they warm, cool? Achy? Just noticing, and then passing to the next area. Notice the wrists and the lower arms, the elbows and upper arms. And the shoulders. Notice the shoulders resting on the floor. Notice the front of the shoulders. What does the neck feel like right now? Is it comfortable or uncomfortable? Moving up to the face, notice the chin sticking out in space. Any sensation there? And the lips. Dry or moist, open or closed, touching each other. And the nose. Notice the air coming in and out. And the forehead. Just lying here and noticing what it feels like. Noticing the ears. Notice the back of the head. And the top of the head. And just notice the whole body. Notice if one area stands out in attention right now. Perhaps it's an uncomfortable area, just noticing that. Breathing in and out, feeling our body. and when you're ready, you can sit up. And come back to our seats. The body scan can be done lying down, sitting, standing. It can be done for just a minute sometimes, to scan the body, noticing what it feels like. But many people find it a valuable practice to do an extended version, longer even than what we did here. Taking the time to notice each area. My grandson Zane really liked this one. He was a wrestler, so he was really aware of what his body felt like, and he just found this really valuable. So if, you know, it's another tool in your tool chest, I'd like to say, that if you find this valuable. So I have a handout, as I mentioned, about this, that I'll be giving out in a few minutes. Anybody comments or questions about the body scan meditation?
By the time we got to the chin, I was nearly sleeping.
Yeah.
I was able to stay awake through the whole thing. And when you rang the bell, when you hit the singing bowl, I swear I felt it in my hands, like vibrate through my hands or my wrists. It was pleasant. Very relaxing.
Anybody find some unpleasant times during it? Not too bad, yes?
Yeah, I have a little back strain or something going on, so. Yeah, but it seemed to go away as we went up the body, or at least lessen.
Uh-huh.
I have problems with an elbow and really problems with the shoulder. I'm about to begin occupational therapy on the shoulder again. But the movement didn't hurt it.
Uh-huh.
It was more laying and, I don't know, then after the movement, it sort of twinged.
I noticed getting cold.
Okay.
I was hot.
I realized how much I was blocking out the pain that I have. And then when I started paying attention to it, I realized how great it was, and it just became the focal point for the whole thing. Because it just, you know, I needed to pay attention to it, I guess.
That's very valuable. You know, one of our habits is to avoid pain, to block it out. But sometimes we try so hard to block it out, it just makes it worse. And it's a valuable practice when we notice a painful area to just stay with our attention on that area and notice that the pain kind of maybe comes in waves, it goes up and down. Maybe it's a small area or a big area, or noticing how it changes in quality. Maybe it's a jabbing pain and then it's more of a pressure, and just noticing how pain tends to change makes it easier to be with it, remarkably, instead of straining against it, trying to avoid it. So we'll work more on that perhaps in a future week, but So the body scan and mindful movement are two other practices. Next week, we'll do a couple of other body awareness practices. So for the coming week, I'd like to encourage you to continue your practice. If you're using a guided meditation, maybe try once or twice during the week to just do a silent meditation without any guidance. See what that feels like. I have 3 handouts tonight. The 2 I mentioned, and then I've got one with mindfulness resources that has some of these apps and things on it that we talked about last week, so you have that available if you want to look those up. Read the next chapter, or that's week 2 in the book, up to page 105. That's about mindfulness and the body. Please. Apologize for the quality of these handouts. So this one has what I call easy yoga. These are the poses that we did. A couple of extra ones and some lying down poses. And it has the website if you want to find a guided meditation that leads you through that. Yeah. Got one?
I have one.
Very good. And just take a look at what it says on the bottom. Remember, listen to your body. Accept your limits. Keep an attitude of kindness toward yourself. More important than the effort to the poses is the attention you bring to the poses. Keep a non-judgmental acceptance of whatever you experience. And if you have a regular yoga practice, even better. With a qualified teacher helps.
Is a regular yoga practice kind of like this, or is it much more complicated or straining or that sort of thing?
Well, it's more effort, I would say. What would those of you who practice yoga say?
I think it's what you put into it and the modifications that you can make for your own body.
Mhm.
And that can be different every time, you know, depending on what's going on in your body that day. But it's kind of like a moving meditation. And with Meg, she does do some meditation throughout the yoga,
Mhm.
sometimes before, sometimes after. So it's kind of falls along with all of it, what we're talking about.
You can do yoga in a chair. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's
And
true chair
For,
yoga.
for the Wednesday sessions, do you have to sign up or just show up?
Maybe after class we can talk about that. I'd be happy to share information with you.
This is the handout on the body scan. You probably have this.
Have that one,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is John Kabat-Zinn talking here. You have it,
Yes,
good.
thank you.
And so take your time. He really gets into it. This is his thing, and he's very good, very good. And if you're Kim, if you come next week, remind me to give you the handouts. And one more. And once again, I'm gonna get a better copy of this, but this is Mindfulness Resources, and this has some books, websites, and apps that may be valuable. There's two of them. And they're different colors. And I'm not gonna go through all of them right now, but I'm gonna highlight a couple. You have
I'm all
it?
set, yeah.
Okay. So there, at the bottom, you see the Healthy Minds app that I mentioned. I think I've written on the bottom, "You are not your pain," is, for anyone with chronic pain, this one is outstanding. Perhaps you've read some of these. Anyone wanna comment on any of these that they found particularly valuable?
I liked just about everything by John Kabat-Zinn, but Wherever You Go, There You Are is a real favorite, and I reread it, and I really like it.
Me too, it's really digestible.
That has just short
Yes,
ones, like 1 or 2 or 4 pages long that are
Yeah.
really, valuable.
easy
Yeah.
to understand. And
Yeah.
I like Pema Chodron, but I didn't read this book. I read the other one on death.
Yeah. This is one of her
That was a gift
favorite
from you.
ones, yeah, they're all good.
And I have one by Thich Nhat Hanh, not this one, The Miracle of Mindfulness, but it's called Here You Are.
Uh-huh.
And that's in short, again, small readings.
Thich Nhat Hanh is wonderful. One of his advice is mouth yoga.
It's more than lion's breath coming out.
Just a little smile. That's it.
But I think of that when you say smile, so I'm an early childhood preschool, and I'll get the big mural, big long ones, and set it that way, and then we'll put all the little kids in a line, and it's like, make a big smile. Now, make a smile, real good one. Make one with your mouth wide open now. We got the aide in the background taking pictures.
I bet they can't help
You know,
laughing.
But it's so many ways that they
Yeah.
become aware, you know, and so there's a whole yoga for that, huh?
He's also one of the best talking about walking meditation, which is one of the things we'll do next week. Oh, there's one other one I'd like to add, if you want to write it down, and this is my Facebook page. So on Facebook at a site called Mindfulness Group of Chilton area, just about every week I'll put a little post there that's called Mindful Moment. Very brief, 2 little paragraphs of observations. So check that out, see if you find it valuable. I'm trying to think, what did I write this
They're
week?
great, I love the ones about friends.
Yeah,
That's
I had a 5-part one on friends. Helpful friends and difficult friends. They're all valuable. Good, we will close with the meditation and stick around if you want to talk. Finding our noble posture, feeling our body. Noticing the sensation of each in and out breath. Maybe support that concentration by just saying to yourself, it rising, falling. Just resting here. Noticing thoughts, sensations, letting them go. Noticing each breath. Thanks for your practice.
Thank you.
Go ask Rebecca to turn off the recording. I'll be right back.